Are you looking to buy or sell a home in Camas, Washington? Well, this is the only YouTube channel that I'm aware of that is dedicated to buying and selling homes in Camas, Washington. I make weekly videos on the community of Camas. And trust me, there's a ton of content to make. But to start a conversation, you must call, text, or email me. I am a licensed realtor in both Oregon and Washington, and I do business on both sides of the river. But Camas is my mission field. I've lived here all my life, and I have a ton of knowledge about the entire region. See my sister channel, which is a lot bigger than this one, Relocation Redefined. This is Camas Joe with eXp Realty. This is the first video on my Camas exclusive channel. I have over 60 videos on a ton of different communities, including some in Camas on my sister station. But I will make a new video on Camas each week, so subscribe so that you're notified when I do. So why Camas? On my sister channel, Camas is the most watched community that I've made videos for in Washington. Beaverton in Oregon is the most watched community in the Portland, Vancouver market. My videos in Beaverton are the number 2 highest watched community videos on my sister channel. Camas is number 1 by far. The video watch for Camas is 2 to 3 times what the video count is in Beaverton. That's reason number 1, and these are not necessarily in order of importance. I prefer Camas for a host of reasons. Number 1, it's not Oregon and it's not Portland. Portland has gotten a really bad reputation for homelessness, for the police not upholding law and order, property crimes not prosecuted, drug crimes, even meth and fentanyl, not prosecuted at the user level. Washington has no state income tax. I am going to take my own advice. My wife and I are planning on moving to Washington and give ourselves a raise. We will be selling our current home and buying our next home for cash. Not having a mortgage, we will be saving approximately $2,500 a month by moving to Washington. And by the way, if you need a referral to a financial planner who can walk you through all the ins and outs of Oregon versus Washington, I would be happy to make a referral to an awesome one. So anyway, Camas is my primary mission field. In the industry, we call it a farm area. Sure, I still help people locate wherever they want to move in the Portland, Vancouver area. But I felt like I needed a community to call my own, my home field, where I could target my efforts and time to become a true expert on a community. You know, I cannot view every listing that comes out in the entire Portland, Vancouver region. It would be physically impossible. I would spend all of my time just looking at new listings and not having time to do anything else. But I do view every new listing that comes on the market in Camas. This week we had 18. The lowest list price, $419,900. The highest cost new listing in Camas this week is $2,099,900. Check out my market monitor for a 7-day period for mid-June 2022, and coming up you will see this monitor. Notice the number of pending is 22. That's pending for the 7-day period that this monitor is viewing. Because with an average 45-day close on homes from the time they go into contract until they close, that number would be much, much higher if it included all the current pendings that are in contract. No, this is just the pendings that went into contract this week. I will watch the market monitor each week and post this on my Facebook page. But the primary thing I want you to watch is actually 3. The number of new listings, the number of homes that are back on the market. And why is this happening? Because people got into contract when the interest rates were 3.5%, and they've been pre-qualified at that level. And now they're at 6% or over. They no longer qualify for the loan amount that they went into contract with. And so these homes are coming back on the market. And this is going to be an increasing phenomenon here for the foreseeable future. So we have the number of pendings, we have the number of homes that have come back on the market after being pending, and we have the number of new listings. Here's what I expect. I expect the number of listings to increase each week, and that number is going to accelerate faster than the number of pendings we have each week. We are seeing a shift in the market, which we will not see come to fruition for at least 6 months. The sellers are losing some of their advantage to buyers, and anybody selling a home has to make this mindset switch immediately. We dealt with decreasing values in the past. I'm sure all that you're focused on right now is we've been on an appreciation cycle for years where the home prices are going up, up, up. But we've been through markets in the past where the prices were coming down. And when that happens, we find people what we call chasing the market. And this would be, we've got a glide angle of values that are going down, and they are reluctant to reduce the list price of their home fast enough to get below the glide slope of how much the homes are going down in value. Okay, we're going to take a little side journey here. I'm showing you a graph over on the left-hand side here, over here. This represents price of the home. Down on the bottom, this represents the time it's on the market. This red line here represents over time the amount the market is declining in value. So I am here to illustrate to you what chasing the market looks like. If we list your home high, above market value, and you go a period of time without getting any showings or very few showings and no offers, decide to take a price reduction. But we're still above market value, the red line. So you take another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, until we really make a price correction. And the amount you're going to get for your home at this point, compared to if we would have listed it down here to begin with, or made a price reduction down at market value, the gap between here and here represents the amount of money you would have gotten over and above what you ultimately get months later chasing the market. Down in value, and so they come down a bit month after month or week after week, and they never get down below the glide angle. And we call this chasing the market. And after you've done this for months, you say to yourself, I would have been a lot better off to chunk down my list price below that glide level early in the cycle, because the 3 or 4 price reductions I've taken are more than I would have had to have taken early in the process. And now, months later, I will get less for the home than if I would have chunked it down all at once in the beginning. So the sellers are losing a bit of advantage. We are no longer looking at multiple offers and over asking price, because fewer and fewer people are actually qualifying for homes at the high prices that we currently have and the high interest rates. Inventory for the month of April was at 21 days in the Camas market. As of May, and unfortunately, we're always a couple weeks behind the change of the month. So for May, our most current data is 30 days. So we've increased our inventory by a week in 1 month, and this trend will continue. But I'll post the market monitor on my Facebook page each week for you. And if you want me to send you a weekly market report for Camas, text me or email me your email address, and I will put you on that broadcast list. So this week, the interest rate spiked to 6.15%. And I hear a lot of realtors saying, well, that's really not that bad, because you look at the 30-year historical, 6.15% is not, crazy high. It's a little high, but it's not pushing the envelope of like 15% back in the 80s. The problem is we have much higher home values now than we did in the 80s. So in the 80s, you had a $50,000 house at 10%. That was $5,000 a year in interest. Now you take a $500,000 home at 10%, just to make the math easy. That would be a $50,000 a year interest cost for that loan. So that's almost $5,000 a month for your payment on a $500,000 home without paying off any principal and not paying taxes or insurance. So a 6.15% mortgage on a home that you don't have a significant down payment on is going to be prohibitive. And people that are already own a home and want to sell that home and upsize, downsize, whatever the case may be, move to another community, they're going to be leaving an interest rate. The majority of you have interest rates at or below 3%. You're going to sell a home with a 3% mortgage, and then you're going to turn around and buy one at 6.15, and that's a tough pill to swallow. Let's look at the realities of the finances on a home in Camas, and the median home price right now of homes that are on the market is $700,000. Let's figure a 20% down payment. At a 3% interest rate, your payment with taxes and insurance is about $3,000 a month. At 6.15%, that same $700,000 home with 20% down would be about $4,100 a month. So it's at least $1,000 a month difference in payment. And that's 20% down. Can you imagine what that looks like at a 5% down payment? So to put this in perspective, in order for you to have the same monthly payment at 6.15% as you do at 3% with a $700,000 home, we would need to see a correction in the market of 25%, going from $700,000 down to $525,000. And I don't see that big of a correction coming in Camas. Camas has been such a desirable community, and it has outperformed almost every other community in the Portland, Vancouver area. I see a maximum correction in the Camas market of 10 to 15%. But all my previous projections are shot. Nobody saw the economy coming that we are currently experiencing. We're going to look at 10% inflation year over year. Gas prices have doubled. But really, this current situation was brought on by the Fed. They underreacted during COVID and left interest rates low for too long, and so the home values kept climbing because of the low interest rates. Now they're overreacting because we have sky-high inflation and they're worried about a recession. We haven't seen interest rates like this since the 80s. And the interest rate's going to take a lot of people out of the market. So selling a home has gotten harder, and selling a home will be taking longer. The expectation of selling a home first week on the market is pretty much gone. And this trend will accelerate and get worse for at least 6 months. So the market is going to get progressively worse for sellers and progressively better for buyers, especially buyers with cash. Cash is going to be king for the next 6 to 12 months. I keep asking my clients that have pulled back from the market who have cash to spend, because they're worried about buying a home now and having it be worth less, 10 to 15%, in 6 months to a year. But then I ask, where are you going to put your money where you're not going to lose 10 to 15% in the next year? Inflation is killing savings. Sure, they're given a little more interest than they were, but the inflation is going to far outpace any interest you're getting, 2% maybe at this point. Stock market, we're seeing a huge correction. Anybody's guess what's going to happen with your retirement savings. And where this stops is anybody's guess. So in the short run, cash is king in real estate. And my wife and I will be one such buyer. We will get cash for the home we're living in now and pay cash for our next home. In this instance, you really don't lose because you're selling it less and you're buying it less, because our previous home would be affected the same way that a new home will be. And with a market where buyers financing really can't afford the homes they really want, all of a sudden they're only pre-qualified for $300 and they were pre-qualified for $700 or $800. And these cash buyers are going to be able to negotiate prices below asking price. Speaking of which, we have left the cycle of increasing home values. Prices are and will continue to decline for the foreseeable future. It's just a question of how much. And you know, the magic part of the market we just left, where we were continually increasing in value, it really didn't matter what you priced your home at. If you priced it low, you'd get a ton of offers and the market would decide how much your home is worth. Now, going into a declining market, this becomes problematic because we can no longer rely on the market to find the value. We have to price the home properly where it will sell. And being in real estate in the past, I can tell you that overpriced listings people will just not look at. It's never fun to be in a negative equity cycle. It forces the sellers to be realistic and make hard decisions. But look at the equity you've gained over the past few years. 10 to 15% a year for 4 years. You've roughly gained 50% value, and if you have to sell at 10 to 15% less than the peak values, that's really not so bad. So, what is my advice for sellers? Sell sooner than later. Prices are going to go down progressively over the next 6 to 12 months. So the sooner you can sell, the more money you're going to get for your home. Get used to the idea that it will take longer to sell a home. And we could go again the full length of a listing contract, typically 6 months, and have homes expire and not be sold. And if you price your home high, we've already talked about chasing the market. You need to be realistic and listen to your realtor. And as we look at the data hard to come up with what is the price that will be the most you can get in this market. And that news may be a hard pill to swallow. So there are some home categories or specific homes that will sell much better than others. Nicely updated single-level homes in Camas will continue to be extremely desirable. I was involved with a client in Camas on a home that went for about $130,000 over asking value. That was a totally updated, beautifully maintained single-family ranch home. These types of homes will continue to be very desirable. Homes on the lower price side that are less costly in Camas will continue to be more desirable. Camas is not a cheap place to live, and homes in the $400,000 to $500,000 range will continue to be a hot commodity. And homes in the Camas School District will continue to have an advantage over homes which are not. Most of the annexed land to the north, which has been annexed into the city of Camas, and this is where the bulk of new construction is now happening in Camas, is not within the Camas School District. This is within the Evergreen School District, even though it's got a Camas address. So instead of being a feeding frenzy at all price points, the lower price points are going to continue to be fairly competitive. And as the prices go up higher and higher in asking price, the ones that are over $1 million, those are going to take longer to sell. And those you don't necessarily have to keep lowering your price. It's just a matter of finding the right buyer. And this can take time. And we will see more homes expire and need to be relisted. But my leading question will always be, where are you going after you sell your home? But the good news is we'll see less instances of people selling their home and not being able to get a new one into contract. No, it should be much easier to buy your new home once your old home sells. I've had clients sell their old home and then just going from place to place, making offer after offer, and not being able to get anything into contract. And this can be a very scary and frustrating position to be in. But we should not be seeing that moving forward. Once you sell your home, or if you have cash, it's going to be much easier to get into a new home. And even if you have to finance part of the purchase of your home, and that number is higher than you want it to be, as soon as rates come down, you can always refinance. And they will come down at some point. Okay, let's shift to buyers. What is my advice for buyers wanting to buy in Camas? Keep watching the market and don't be in a hurry to buy. Wait for the prices to come down a bit. Wait for interest rates to come down if you're financing a home. Inflation has a history of maintaining or increasing home values. Owning homes has always been a hedge against inflation, so that's a factor working in our favor, but I still believe we're going to see some decline in the value of homes. And once these interest rates normalize, come down a bit, we will see another uptick in the activity for buying. So there's going to be a sweet spot when interest rates are coming down, values have come down, for you to move and buy your home before the dynamics change and the interest rates come down and the prices start going back up. So just like a lot of people pulled out of the market when it was accelerating so fast because they were frustrated, there are going to be tons of people coming back into the market when it normalizes, and we need to hit that market before the activity gets back to the way it was. So when we start seeing inventory levels starting to decline again, you're going to want to move quickly. So the reality of our region here is that we do need more homes. We have more people coming here than we have moving away from the area. It's just a great place to live. The recreation here is awesome. We don't have, natural disasters like hurricanes and tornadoes and such. The climate here is mild, and we don't have super high humidity like in the Midwest and East Coast. So we will continue to have a supply problem, and frankly, we are running out of land in Camas to build new homes on. So we will continue to have a supply problem long term. Land within the Camas School District to build new homes on, there's a few onesie-twosies, a home on 1.5 acres that can be divided and they can build 3 homes, 4 homes on. Sure, we're going to see some of that, but we're not going to see 200 homes being built within the Camas School District in the near future unless they expand the Camas School boundary. So again, homes within the Camas School District will continue to perform much better selling wise and hold value than the homes outside the Camas School District and within the Camas city limits. And this happens a lot in the northern portion of Camas and the western portion against Vancouver. So ultimately, whether you're buying or selling a home in Camas, you have to contact me to start your own moving experience. All of my contact information is shown below each video in the Show More section. So Camas, I am waiting for your text, call, or email. And again, if you want me to send you my weekly market report for Camas, I would be happy to do that, but I will need your email address. And you can send that to me in text or email. And my email address is scrolling across the top of the video right now. And with that, this concludes my first video on the subject specifically of Camas, Washington. Thank you.